Episode 108. Komori Moriko has a plan. As much as she dislikes being someone else's psyche, she's going to help out the post-Mughals with their quest. In order to become a spy in the postal system, I'm sure there's a lot you can learn by reading other people's mail. This is all coming hot off the capture of one Elaine Ryu, if I was saying that right. The Guardian spy in the Immortal Flames network. I think Komori probably thinks that's a good idea, and she'll try to take a page from her book, become a spy herself, all for the purpose of making sure that her own gang gets an advantage. We'll need everything that we can get to take on Elfinode's Crystal Braves for the inevitable gang wars that are definitely happening. I, of course, don't have any clothes that are fitting for delivering the mail, but let's pretend, given the season, we're helping out with their holiday deliveries, since the postal system always strains itself during this time of year. That was the entire plot of all of the other reindeer. I should have started this whole quest line this episode with the first quest, but I guess the first quest was in the previous episode. Oh well. It's not all going to be clean. It hasn't been clean up until now anyway. If it isn't my my promising new recruit, hit the twinkle in your eyes and spring in your step, simply shout out to me, I'm ready for my first assignment, Mr. Deputy Post-Mughal, sir. Do I hear you correctly, Kupo? Of course I do. Well, this is your lucky day, for I've picked out what should prove the perfect task to start off your training. To wit, I have here in my paws a letter that needs delivering to Batarin, proprietor of the Drowning Wench. A simple task, you say? Perhaps, and perhaps not. For a delivery Mughal's task does not end with the handing over of a piece of parchment. No, the conscientious carrier lends an ear to the addressee and sees the job through until her customer is happier for what has been received. Being the accomplished and eminently visible adventurer that you are, I suspect that your clients will be even more eager to enlist your services than they would an elusive Mughal like myself. Consider this an honor and a privilege, Kupo. This is something about the Mughal lore I never fully understood. They're supposed to be invisible except to select people or something. I don't know what kind of people. But since you're the player character, you can always see them, so it's hard to say how visible they are to other people. And of course, starting in patch 2.1, you start having a lot of dealings with them when you start taking care of their primal. And everyone that's involved in that quest can see Mughals. I think they may have touched on this topic back then, but still have no idea who can and can't see Mughals, and why they're working in the mail. As the one in charge of your training, I shall wait here for word of your success. You will succeed, won't you, Kupo? Now, I've done a little bit of these quests as my main character, but I never actually finished. I kind of forgot. Guess I'll be doing a lot of these for the first time here. Wait, the Drowning Wench is over this way. Up there. Off to a great start, Komori. Your sense of direction never fails. Looks like someone doing their first quest, or one of the first quests. Just like how you get introduced to Momodi at the starting city in Ul'dah. People that do that stuff in here, in Limsal Minsa, do all of their beginning quests with Batarin. Ah, now here's a face what always warms me out to see. Ever a shining example to all the would-be heroes and heroines in these halls. You've a letter for me, you say? Would have figured you'd have more pressing tasks on your plate than plain messenger girl. But who am I to... What's this? Oh, bugger me. Of all the times for him to show up. Hate to burden you, but I'd be much obliged if you could help me with a simple task. No. I know you're a busy lass these days, but the navigator guided you back through these doors for a reason. Look, I ask you this, because I know I can trust you, and that's not something I can say for just anyone. Come now. It's the least you could do for old Badarin. The reason? To help me settle the score with an old acquaintance of mine. Aye, the man's worked up quite the bill, and it's past time for a reckoning. You're to find the bastard and bring him here to old Badarin. Not just I can trust you with that, eh? You'll find him out in the middle in Lenosia. A Rogadan fellow of his imposing stature and less than imposing brains, like it's not up to trouble of some sort. Oh, and speak with Shabot. Speak with. That's a tough one. Do you leave the D silent, or the H is maybe with the O? Sadojbi, that's what I'm gonna say. It's actually not that hard once you say it. Oh, and speak with Sadojbi once you set out, before you set out. She's prepared to the perfect welcome gift for my dear old mate. Don't exactly remember what this quest does. And actually taking on these quests may give me the chance to see some of the festive decoration around that I didn't have on camera in any previous episode. As long as it keeps me within the towns, that is. Sounds like I'll be going outside of town. So you're the adventurer, going out to greet our guest of honor, are you? Bowden hasn't told me much about the man, but his steely gaze speaks volumes. As you know, Bowden was an accomplished sellsword in his younger days. Made his share of friends, and more than his share of foes. And the latter are none too shy about bringing trouble onto the premises. A Rogadan fellow in Middle Lenosia, was it? Ah, but I'll pry no further. One thing I've learned in my time here, is not to poke my nose in disputes that don't involve me. Here's a gift Badarin asked me to prepare. I trust that it will serve you well. Let's see. Over there. We can walk. Why not? As long as I know which way I'm going. This way. Is this bag that Komoi's wearing technically called like a messenger bag? Those ones kind of go around over the shoulder and hang at your hip, right? What's the technical name for this kind of bag? Well, if it is a messenger bag, then I guess this might be fitting clothes, kind of. Not exactly a uniform. But at least there's a visible bag on her body, rather than most clothes which don't have that at all. Something to store the letters in. Hey you, stop your wincing. Have mercy, my wine is my livelihood. Quit your cowering. That ain't looking to steal nothing. Just me wanting a ship, that's all. A big ship. An adventurer, thank the gods. Oh, different guy. An adventurer, thank the gods. This brute meant to rob me of my livelihood. You must stop him. Stop you. Alright, you're asking... Ugh. You're a godsend, friend. I tell you, that brute is a menace to honest merchants everywhere. You will find him and bring him to justice, yes? Well, we're here to deliver the mail, but if you say so. The very first instruction Komoi received from her Moogle superior, was to help out whoever she's delivering mail to. She very promptly ignored that after Badarin asked her to help, but here we are anyway. Have mercy, woman. I didn't mean the little man no harm. I just had a few too many. An old 4 Badarins? Ain't that rich. I'm the best bloody mate the old bastard's ever known. Whether or not he's willing to admit it. Name's Tilswain. A sellsword of some repute myself. Though, more for me prowess with a flagon of ale than a spear at me back. No, you'll not see me blaming Badarin, nor you, of course, with a soggy welcome. I dare say I earned it on me last trip to the Wench. As a matter of fact, I've even brought Badarin a small token of apology. Just my own way of saying sorry for all the trouble I've stirred up it. Well, bugger me to the 7th hell and back again. I left the bloody bag back at Mummersford Arms, was it? Forgive me, lass, my memory's still a bit hazy. I'd go back and search myself, but in addition to not knowing quite where I came from, I'm still feeling a touch queasy. Be a good lass and retrace my steps for me, will ye? With any luck. The fellow there, damned if I can remember his name, is keeping me belongings safe and sound. No new dialogue. I guess in the end we're doing deliveries after all. Just going on foot. Feels like it's appropriate to do that. As a delivery person. I mean, I guess there is airmail, but it's nice once in a while. Enjoy things from ground level. You lose sight of the scale of the world if you just fly everywhere. All the time. Summerford Farms, place that I very rarely visit. Don't think I've ever been in here. So sparsely decorated. Of course, the delivery Moogles are supposed to be a kind of feature for you to pick up mail in your home world. Oops. I'm on visit right now to Lamia. Doesn't really matter though. I'm not sure what use the mail system is. Maybe some people with more friends in their friends list actually send mail to their friends? I don't know. No, stranger. What brings an impressive-looking young lass like yourself to my humble orchards? That bloody drunkard. Of course I remember him. How could I not? Left his mark all over the bedding and floor. And then this after I went out of my way to furnish his room with a proper spittin' box. His belongings. I had my hands plenty full cleaning up his foul spew. If he left anything else behind, it's like it's not still there. You're more than welcome to explore, though I'd suggest you watch your step and hold your nose, particularly if you've just eaten. Once a good thing smell doesn't transfer to game. Although, it'd be nice if it did sometimes. This guy's not very attentive, he was just there on the table. Found what you were looking for? Pleased to hear it. Especially if it means I'll be spared a reunion with a stinking sop. A nice angle of Limsa Laminsa on top of a hill looking over it. Used that for a thumbnail some time ago. No music, please. This is not a high-stakes episode. We're just delivering the mail. We don't need the high-stakes fate music. Back, are you? Did you happen upon me belongings, mayhap? Just a small satchel, nothing too fancy. Bloody brilliant. Aye, from the moment you doused me with that wet stuff, I knew I'd made myself a friend. Don't know about you, but after all me troubles today, I've worked up quite a thirst. What say you join me at the wench? First pints on battering. No thank you, we are on the job. Does Komoi have integrity? Maybe not. But I doubt she'll take to drinking with strangers. Festive outfit. That bow. What is that? I think that's a glamour item. Like one that you get from some of the endgame glamour stuff, or rather. Probably one of the treasure dungeons, I think. Or crafting, one of the glamour crafting things. Endgame for crafters. Well, if it isn't what's your face from wherever it was, pull up a chair and don't be a stranger. Battering, a cold one for the fine lass. More into hot drinks, Komori is. We learned that in the other Christmas episode. Welcome back, Komori. Give my apologies for getting you mixed up in the dealings of a couple old sellswords. Have a pint of me finest. And regardless of what he might have told you, Dillswain's paying for all comers tonight, including yours truly. You've not changed a whit, Battering. Still a thankless bloody bastard. Thankless? Me? Says the insufferable son, who won't be content till he drinks his so-called best mate out of house and home. Mark my words, Dillswain. If you conveniently forget to pay your tab this time, I'll lunch you to the 7th cell. Battering acts all tough, but trust me, just a moment ago he was going on about how happy he was to hear you were safe. Here, this one's on the house. I hear it's your favorite. You needn't worry, Lash. Old Dillswain and your mate's master go way back. Gone soft, if you ask me. Why, back in our day, you couldn't call yourself friend to Battering till he'd drawn steel on you at least twice. Then I shall consider myself fortunate that we only became acquainted more recently. But do tell, good sir, what is the story behind those coins? The remnants of some hidden treasure, mayhap? Treasure? You and I both wish, lassie. No, I fear it's little more than a memento of days long past, and none too well remembered. Back when Battering and myself were still wet behind the ears, a grizzled old veteran, at least he looked grizzled to a couple of young pups like us, took a liking to us. Took us under his wing, as it were. It was a kindness in days when kindness was hard to come by. Carried with him these coins, he did. See the face of the spinner? Said her fair gaze watching over him was what kept him living where all his old mates had a tendency to end up dead, or worse. Chanced upon him a fortnight ago, on his deathbed. The poor bastard said he'd lived a good life, but his luck had finally run its course. Didn't have much to leave behind save for his lucky coins. Coins he wanted to leave a couple of not-so-young pups, that they might enjoy a life as long as his. A touching tale indeed. Now, perhaps you can answer a long-held question of mine, good sir. Why ever would a sellsword as renowned as Battering forsake his blade for the life of a glorified barkeep? You've not heard the story? Mind you, a detail or two might have slipped from my memory, but I'll give her a try. It was 20 years ago or thereabouts, with the realm finally at peace, or something resembling it. A great mercenary captain had a plan. This man, the living legend if there ever was one, brought all the shell swords, who were itching for a new fight under one roof. So it was that the Adventurers Guild was born. There were no shortage of eager applicants. Aye, everyone and their uncle was looking to be an adventurer, save for one young boy, the son of the very man that founded it. This boy only wanted one thing, to follow in his father's footsteps and make his name as the greatest sellsword who ever walked the realm. And the boy give up his dream? Did he reckon he'd already achieved it? Can't say for sure, Lashy. Only that the boy is now a man, and the man stands behind the counter at the Adventurers Guild, dispensing advice to young glory seekers like Omori here, and ale to old drunkards like myself. Is this true? Why, that would mean Baturin's father is none other than... Shidobi, I pay you to wipe the tables, not wag your bloody tongue. Now get back to work before I throw you back in the gutter where I found you. And just when things are starting to get interesting. And with that, Baturin, I'd best be on my way. Spend any more time around that lovely lass and this lonely old sellsword is like to get jealous. Besides, if I empty your gas today, what will I drink on my next visit? Aye, walk away while your legs still hold you, you blundering oaf. And come back any time for a pint of my finest. I'll see it dumped right over your fat head. Good friends. Who is your father? Is that, like, in the lore, or is that just in this quest? Is that important? I wonder. No bones broken and only 2 of my tables covered in spew. Not a bad day, by my reckon. Drunken bastard that he is, Jill's wins a friend. A friend I'd not have reunited with, were it not for your timely delivery. Your next ale is on the ass. Better be a festive starlight celebration ale or something. I guess it didn't really take us to see the decorations, so let's take the long way around back to the Moogle. We'll say Komori got lost with her impeccable sense of direction on the way back. Yeah, you get out of here. No dialogue specific to the holiday, of course. You'd have to be a limited time NPC that only pops in for the holiday to have that kind of dialogue. It's kind of weird seeing the normal dialogue while all the holiday stuff is going on. I wonder if the anchor yard is decorated. Some decorations here. And inside. Not going to tour the entire town. Just some notable spots, I guess. Notable to me. Kind of decorated. Hey, look at that. Someone put out a cake for Lim Lane. The perfect hiding spot. It'd be cool if they decorated the lighthouse, like made it look like a Christmas tree or something. That might be asking for too much, though. During Halloween, or All Saints' Wake, I was impressed to see them decorate the ships below with pumpkins all over the mast and everything. I don't think they're similarly decorated here. Over there? No. The ships seem normal. Probably no reason to stop over by them. Let's see. Moogle is over here. So we'll take the long way around. Yeah, let's actually go by the ships over this way and make a loop. And maybe stop by the Arcanist Guild. Komori's old stomping grounds. Mostly trees decorating around the area, and snowmen. Some nice patterns on the ground. Rogues Guild. I mean, a very veritable, fine establishment. Nothing shady going on there. Are you allowed to walk all the way out there? Nothing's out here, but I guess it's just a place for people to go. Flesh out the world a little bit. It'd be kind of cool if the water froze over just a little bit. Saw some ice floating by. Again, maybe asking too much for decoration. Oh, they do decorate the ship a bit. Didn't actually notice those snowflakes twinkling. Do they celebrate at the Fishers Guild? Looks like they do. I guess all the guilds probably decorate. I hope the fish are enjoying that. We don't need to go on the ship. We'll just admire it from afar. Ah, this reminds me of an episode of Kirby, of the Stars. A little friend Kirby made. Sad episode. And over this way. What's going on in the Arcanist Guild? Miuiruma from Danganronpa. Didn't exactly look like Miu, although maybe I'll take a second look. Kind of decorated, not as decorated as it was during All Saints' Wake. Do they decorate the basement? Maybe only the front-facing counter. No decorations here. I have sufficiently wasted enough time looking at the decorations. In Limsa, anyway. The next quest, I know, will take us to the other city-states, so we'll waste time looking at the decorations there as well. Not exactly pink, but I can see how the hairstyle might fit Miu. Probably she's not in costume right now. No snow on the ground for us to throw snowballs in this section of the map. Strangely only upstairs. Toe biter? Yeesh. If it isn't my dutiful assistant, I trust you fared well on your first assignment. Do tell me all about it, Kupo. Why, you don't say. Badarin has never been an easy customer to please. Why, he nigh pulled out my whiskers that time I dropped a letter in a flagon of ale. But it sounds like you've made a fabulous first impression. As your senior, I couldn't be more pleased with your effort. And with myself for having discovered such a talented new recruit, Kupo. But this is no time to rest on your laurels, oh no. For each day brings new letters, and the deliveries that await will take you even further afield. I dare say you might encounter clients who will make old Badarin look like a cuddly chocobo. But it's all in a day's work, for my able assistant, yes? When you're looking for your next assignment, you know where to find me, Kupo. It's kind of hot out, so give us the pan-fried mahi-mahi. We're level 2. With your successful delivery, your reputation as a letter carrier has grown. Why doesn't my level as a letter carrier show up here? They have all of the useless classes, but not the letter carrier? Weird. Go ahead and eat that now, Komori. Oh, guess I got these too. Oh, I got the minion as well. Yeah, we'll take it out. For a little bit. The cloud of darkness, kind of. Sort of. Useless stuff, and food that we'll just eat. Get it out of our inventory. Can't just throw away good food, even if you have to clear out the inventory. Just stuff your face with it. Now the Moogle quests were something that were released periodically from 2.1 to 2.5, or maybe even 2.55. And you would have been waiting in between patches for some more backstory, little side stories all across the realm, with some less interacted NPCs, or NPCs that went by the wayside as the story went on, like Badarin. And of course, Mother Mione, and I forget her name. I started with her, and somehow I'm forgetting her name. The name Nanamo hops into mind, but obviously that's the Sultana. Who are you again? Well, our career as a letter carrier continues on a great pace. Can't even remember who we're delivering letters to. Well, if it isn't my favorite assistant, back and eager as ever, as a reward for your zeal and duties. In your duties, I have what should prove to be a positively delightful task, Kupo. I have a letter here addressed to Mother Mione, of Gridania's Carline Canopy. I can just feel the warm rays of the sun trickling down through the leaves, a piping hot cup of tea in my paw. Why, I've half a mind to deliver the letter myself. But let it not be said that the deputy postman keeps a more pleasing task for himself. No, the job is yours, and you need not so much as ask for it. Happy message carrying, Kupo. Well, except the other one too. It makes sense to make less trips when delivering the mail. Before I accept it though, her name at the Adventurers Guild in Thanalan was Mumodi, Mistress Mumodi. Look who's back. I'll give you 3 guesses what I have in my paw, and the first 2 don't count, Kupo. Why yes, a letter. However, did you know? It's addressed to Mumodi, the ever-charming proprietress of the Quicksand in Ul'dah. Sounds like a pleasant enough assignment, wouldn't you say? But this is no ordinary letter. Oh no. Why, I've strained my eyes for any sign of the sender's name, but it is nowhere to be found. An anonymous epistle? Sounds like a task for my most capable assistant, Kupo. Guess we'll take it on in the order we took them on. In the spirit of taking the mail a reasonable way, not just teleporting it around, we'll take the airship. And this will take us nicely to where we need to go in Gridania. The airmail has arrived. Truly couldn't get better service. Welcome to the Carline Canopy, friend. You've made quite a name for yourself, haven't you? At times I'd swear that even the trees themselves whisper tales of your exploits. A letter? Let me see. Oh. Why, it would seem there will be an even greater demand for eel pies in the coming days. And once again the oven calls. Not that you'll find me complaining. After all, some go their entire lives without knowing how it feels to have one of their creations beloved by Eorzeans the realm over. Which, come to think of it, reminds me of a story. How did it go again? Ah, yes. Many years ago, when I was no taller than the counter before us, like you, a Lalafell artisan and his daughter came here to the 12th Wood. Of the circumstances which brought them here, I know little, for the father was a man of few words. What I do know is that they left behind their home, traveling far and wide across the realm, before settling on Gridania as their new home. The elementals care little about borders drawn by men. All who treat the forest with compassion are welcome within. Sadly, people in those times were not quite so understanding. The poor man and daughter endured name-calling, spiteful pranks, and worse. My grandfather took pity on them, offering them shelter in this building. In those days, it was little more than a glorified storage cabin, far from the bustling center of activity it is today. My grandfather minded the watermill, you see, as his father before him, a respected position that afforded our family a certain status among our peers. Though not all approved of my grandfather befriending the outsiders, none dared give voice to their objections. With time, Gridanians came to understand that whencesoever they hailed, the man and his young daughter were honest, peaceable folk, no different from any of us. With their blessings of their newfound countrymen, the love the two harbored for their new home deepened. When talk arose of erecting a new water wheel, the father, originally a shipwright by trade, was among the first to offer his services. My grandfather soon joined him. Though not without hardships along the way, the wheel eventually rose, standing even today as one of Gridania's greatest architectural achievements, and a keystone of our very livelihood. If you are not in too much of a hurry, I would very much like to show it to you. But before we depart, I would ask of you a small errand. Would you be so kind as to pick 4 Carline blossoms about the town and bring them to me? I would accompany you, but alas, the kitchen calls. I guess we do get to see the town after all. All over, in fact. Good. That's exactly what I wanted. No snow on the ground here either. That story about a Lalafell coming from afar and settling in town kind of makes me think. I guess I just randomly decided Komori's name would be Japanese, Komori Moriko. Oh, let's see the decorations here. Even though she comes to Ul'dah at the beginning of the game, which I guess I decided was where she lived previously. I guess if her name is technically Domin or Hengen or whatever, probably Hengen, could say that her family immigrated from there, like the people in that story. Not that Komori knows anything about that. I doubt she cares too much about lineage or whatever. All this just because I thought Komori Moriko was a nice sounding name. Doesn't exactly look Hengen, I guess. Maybe one parent is from Hingashi and the other parent is from Ul'dah. That would make sense. Yeah, especially knowing what we know later about trade and all of that. Backstory. It's happening as I play the game, like Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't actually know what a carline was. I guess it's a flower. So that's why it's called the carline canopy. I guess the snowmen are trying to do parkour too. I did quests for these kids way back when, thinking that they would give me something like an emote or something, but I'm pretty sure that quest is somewhere else around here. I still need to do those quests, but I'll worry about it later. There's one dance, a new dance you can pick up in each city-state by doing those quests. Just like how I got the throw emote, it's just a normal orange quest. One of these around here or something. Of course, you get better dances from other sources, mainly the Gold Saucer, or the store if you're so inclined, or events. Is the inside here decorated? And of course, through more involved side quests like Allied Society quests and the like, later on. Oh, what a shame. I guess they don't want to decorate a holy place, huh? Well, that makes sense. Not necessarily holy, I guess spiritual. The mix between the two when your spiritual stuff is also very much based in science is kind of hard to say if it's necessarily religious. Not a huge fan of how gray the sky gets when it's snowing, but that's of course realistic. That's just what it looks like when it's snowing. Sometimes it'd be nice though, if the design of weather in games didn't necessarily have to go too close to realistic, but leaned more towards the aesthetic. I don't know what it would look like, just maybe snow with an aurora borealis in the sky or something. Or maybe not so fancy, just something not so dour as gray. But I guess there are people that enjoy the gray in the sky while it's snowing. You do want to capture that for those people. Over there at the end of the river, looks like there's a snowman, I think. Let's jump down. No, I guess it was a trick of the light. I thought, like the ghost that hangs out over here during All Saints' Wake, there was a snowman. Well, I guess there's this in the water. What is all this? Why is this here? Like a trail. Which I guess just leads over by the wheel. Little bit of decoration on the river, no real meaning to it. Anything going on over here? Not really. Little nooks and crannies like these make more sense to decorate during the spooky holiday. These cakes are looking good. Kinda makes me want one. You got any cake? If I can't have any, then maybe Komor can. Alas, despite his stand, he is not selling cake. This is false advertising. Didn't really see any snow on the ground for us to throw snowballs here. Although maybe it was over by Miketo's amphitheater. Holiday shopping. Alright, let's head back. We'll go ahead and teleport back. Why not? I am taking my time with these quests, but I do want to see the next one. Spent a lot of time touring the city. Ah, welcome back. Were you able to procure the Carline blossoms I asked of you? Ah, how lovely. Though hardly a rare sight in Gridania, these flowers never fail to bring a smile to my face. The water wheel I would show you is best seen from the Jadeite flood. Go on ahead. I shall be along after I see to my duties here. Right. I've actually waxed poetic about the sight of Gridania from that particular angle in central Gridania, or central Shroud before. You don't really get an idea of what Gridania looks like from the outside, unlike Limsa Lominsa and Ul'dah. The only real chance that you get to see that is from this angle that we're seeing right now. I guess if you were to fly overhead, you'd just see the top of the trees and such. Not a real good aerial view. For Ul'dah, you can see the towering towers and the huge walls, and Limsa Lominsa is the same. Big spires and bridges everywhere. But for Gridania, all you really get to see is this shot right here, which is a good shot, and actually worthy of being the thumbnail. If I don't make it the Moogle or something. It's a good time of day to actually get that shot. It'll probably be the Moogle though, right? Because we're doing those quests, starting them this episode. Or started them last episode. Whatever. Ah, Komoi. I hope I've not kept you waiting over long. Come now, let us look upon the water wheel of my tale. Behold, the pride of our nation, Vigaga's gift. Is she not magnificent? Countless times have I come here, yet each time I stand in awe at her sheer size and beauty. Taking a moment to actually look at it, it is actually pretty involved, more so than you'd expect a normal water wheel. It's kind of like the huge part of the wheel isn't even in the water. Is that how it's supposed to be? Looks cool though. Knowing that it was born of a special bond between my grandfather and the Lalafell builder, elevates it to a special place in my heart. Would that they had lived to see it complete. I spoke of hardships, yes? Not days after he finished drawing up his draft for the new mill, the poor Lalafell, hale and hearty for his age until then, suddenly took ill. What started as a cough soon grew dire, and within a fortnight he had passed. Without its chief builder, the ambitious project came to a grinding halt. At first there seemed no recourse but to abandon the construction entirely. Then the daughter stepped forth, vowing that she would see her father's dream to fruition. Though none could deny her pedigree, the girl had never lifted a hammer in her entire life. Not letting this, nor the doubting words of others, deter her, she promptly enrolled in the Carpenters' Guild, vowing to follow in her father's footsteps. People laughed. Who was this shy little girl with yellow blossoms in her hair? But within a year's time, all could see that the girl was a prodigy with a hammer. In 5 years, she had mastered skills that would take an ordinary carpenter a lifetime. In 10, her father's dream had become a reality. The shy girl with flowers in her hair had blossomed into a strong, proud woman, and one of the greatest builders our realm has ever known. Such is the tale of Higaga. Ah, to think the wonders she might still have wrought. Alas, not long after completing her gift to us, she succumbed to the same foul plague that took her father. Though she is with us no more, she remains an inspiration for the women of Gridania, myself first among them. It is here, in view of the father and daughter's greatest accomplishment, that I buried their ashes and built a small monument to their memory. Once again, I thank you, Komori. The flowers you picked surely brought a smile to Vigaga's face today. Now, shall we return? Yes, to the place that I named in her memory. Carline Canopy. The tale behind the name of the place. Interesting. And I guess this will always be here, this tiny, almost nondescript bush, just kind of sitting here, where someone's ashes, or 2 people's ashes, are buried. How many people walk past this and never realize? Probably every new adventurer that comes wandering out here, killing some little ladybugs or ground squirrels for their first quest. Good times. I aggroed everything. The forest hates me. Here I am disrupting the peace. Jeez. Meant to do an AoE. I was just reminiscing on my first few quests, that's all. The need to anger the whole damn forest. My own fault. And of course we don't have the time to do the other delivery quests that we have. Save it for next episode. There's going to be a lot of delivery quests. all the way up to patch 2.5. We're gonna do them all at once. Thank you for accompanying me today. I had hoped to share the tale of Vigaga with you for quite some time now, having come here from, as you did from a faraway land. Oh, is that actually part of the canon Warrior of Light backstory? That you're not actually from Eorzea? I guess if you come in the first cutscene of the game, on that chocobo drawn carriage, you are presumed to have come from outside of Eorzea. But the baked-in backstory that I pretended Komori has is that she's from Ul'dah and that she was returning to Ul'dah. I guess we could read this as Mion saying that Komori's heritage is from a faraway land. Maybe she recognizes that the name Komori Moriko is a Hingan name or something. And that because she's also a Lalafell, she saw some overlap and wanted to share that story. Kind of fitting. Just pretending what the backstory is, but still kind of fitting. In transforming my grandfather's old storage cabin into the car-lined canopy you see today, I sought to carry on the spirit he showed to his Lalafellan friends. A spirit of welcoming and acceptance for all who would seek shelter here, regardless of their origins. And it was in the same spirit that I came to devote my life to looking after those who would seek adventure. And what a fateful decision that turned out to be, yes? So it was that I came to stand behind this counter. So it was that I met you. And so it was that I received the joyous tidings that you brought to me today. For you see, the letter you delivered was an announcement from the Adventurers Guild. It would appear that I can look forward to a sizable group of new recruits in the days to come, and nothing could make me happier. I wanted to share this news with Vigaga, and with you. After all, 'tis in no small part thanks to your exploits that so many brave young men and women would step forth to bring succor to the realm. Truly, you are a gleaming example to us all. May your stars shine forever bright upon us, Komori. Give us more cheesecake. We already have some of that. We'll head on over to Ul'dah to prepare for the next quest, but not actually take it on. I suppose this set of quests is, I guess, a check-in with each of the proprietors of the Adventurers Guild, but more so for each player to reacquaint themselves with the face that they first saw when becoming an adventurer. Not just in their own city-state, but with those that they had little interaction with. Next episode we'll be interacting with Momodi, the actual face that I saw when coming to Ul'dah the first time. Of course, on my main character, Mion was my first face. But the Let's Play series that got me into the game also started in Ul'dah, so Momodi was more or less the first face that I saw, in one form or another. We'll save the tour of the city for next time. Hopefully the quest takes us around here as well. Back to the place where we first started. It's a good place to take a break.